County Probation Services. I am here this morning to present the alcohol highway safety school instructor agreements for two individuals, Deborah Zechman and Richard Miller. Both have been instructors of the program for several years. However, a request was made by the County Controller's Office and also HR that we create a contract specific to the program and to those consultants that did not exist previously. We contacted other counties and reviewed language in their contracts, which we utilize to establish and develop the Lebanon County contract. That contract was reviewed and approved by the county solicitor. The contract states specifically that the instructors are an independent contractor, not employee of the county, and as such are not covered by the county's workers' compensation, unemployment, or liability insurance. It also specifies the pay rate for the instructors, which was set by administrative order of Judge Tilwalk back in November of 2015. Our intention would be to utilize this contract moving forward for any and all instructors who would be added to the program in the future, and we're requesting your signature on those contracts.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the instructor's contract as presented. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, I have a number of items before we're finished. First few items I have are property related. The first one is an agreement of sale for a parcel of property, approximately 1 acre, that exists along the Lebanon Valley Rails to Trail, and was is county property from back when the rail trail was acquired over in the area of the Expo Center. There's a separate parcel aside of the trail. You have for several years now been in a lease with Evergreen Secure Storage Incorporated. They have been leasing that same parcel, have RV storage that was added on to the existing RV storage business that they have there. And at this point, they're interested in buying that acre. John Wangert, the president of the Lebanon Valley Rails and Trails, recommends this. They do not have any future use for that parcel. They are going to have a trailhead on this is on the east side of the rail trail, right by the Evergreen Road overpass. I think you all know where it is. On the west side, there's going to be a trailhead as part of the North Cornwall Commons project. So he really does not foresee any future need for this, and would prefer, or I guess we formally request that the proceeds from the sale of this piece of property be able to be reinvested in rail trail projects. The lease that has existed for several years, those proceeds have gone to rail trail for their use as well. So this would be an agreement of sale for this 1 acre between the county and Evergreen Secure Storage Incorporated for $35,000 for this piece of property. And just by way of mention, it was valued or appraised at a value of $30,000. So they're willing to pay a little more than market in order to try to
Make a motion to sell the piece of property from the rail trail to the Evergreen Secure Storage for $35,000.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the sale of that land for $35,000. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Okay, and the second item I have is an easement right-of-way and maintenance agreement. This relates to the property that the county owns in East Hanover Township, very close to Grantville, that part of the county, the western part of the county, where we have a 911 tower existing on the top of the mountain. We own about 26 acres on the top of that mountain, where that tower is located. Access to it is off of Appalachian Drive, and the county owns the access going to essentially the road that goes, the tower road that goes up there. There are a number of property owners along that access who have been given right-of-way and easement to gain access to their properties. We do share maintenance for the cost of that snow removal and any stone that needs to be put down. One of the neighboring property owners is selling a parcel, one of 3 parcels that he owns, Douglas Prow, and as part of the ability to be able to sell that, he needs an easement right-of-way to that parcel. At this point, our assistant county solicitor has been involved with this and helping to draft this easement, and speaking with Mr. Dowd and the staff of DES downstairs. We have no objection to this at all. It's really not going to impact any access to it. It's previous to the gate that prevents anyone else from going up in the mountain, so it's really not any impact, and would recommend that you grant the easement.
I'll move to allow the easement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to grant the easement across our right-of-way. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Okay. Next I have let me do this one next. This is a ground lease for 2,800 square feet of land right along Cumberland Street in Lebanon City, across the street from the U-Haul facility on West Cumberland. And this portion of ground was acquired along, again, with the rail trail, going back to the rail trail, and a much larger piece that was going through the city that was acquired from the former rail company. And when you're on the north side of 422 or Cumberland Street, we only own 55 feet from the right-of-way line of the street inward toward the Norfolk Southern property. So there's a 55 by 60 square or sort of parallelogram piece of property there. We're not going to do anything there in the future. There's no plans for the trail. The trail is actually intended to follow Chestnut Street to go to 22nd Street and over around the mall, and so there's not going to be any throughway through there. The property owner on both sides of this, which is Dwell America Holdings Incorporated, wishes to have a ground lease for $1 for this piece of property, so that they can pass between their 2 properties without having to go out onto 422, jump out for 50 feet, jump back in again. We have no objection to that. In fact, it would serve to keeping the weeds down, and they're going to remove the existing pieces of track that are there and just use it as a pass-through or possibly some parking in the future. So this ground lease was drafted between our solicitor and the counsel for Dwell America Holdings. I brought it up to you yesterday, and there was a question about specifying their responsibilities for for weeds and property maintenance and so on. So since yesterday, we've inserted a clause here: tenants responsible for all maintenance, including landscaping, weeds, snow removal, etc. So that specifies that. So again, it's only 55 feet in from the road, 60 feet wide, 2,800 square feet for a $1 lease.
I think I did the last one, did I?
Also move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve that lease of the piece of land. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
And the reason for leasing it, and the reason that they're not interested in purchasing, or we're not interested in selling, is that in order to parcel that off, we would have to go through all the subdivision procedures to do so for that little piece of ground. So this way, it just isolates it on the other side of the street. There will still be access to that spur of the rail trail, which will eventually go to the Wengert Park, which is across from Lebanon Catholic School. So
I have seen
hopefully
people
familiar
go
with it.
from the sidewalk back through to Lebanon Catholic,
Yeah, the
using
bridge-
that spur. It actually gets used.
Yeah, there's an improved bridge over the Hazel Dike and everything there. So yeah. All right, and then last item, somewhat relating to property here, is you're aware that the Clarence Shock Memorial Park at Governor Dick received a grant from the Department of Department of Conservation and Natural Resources to build an ADA accessible walkway and some restrooms at the park right by their environmental center. As part of the grant requirements, it must be proven that you're intending to maintain it in perpetuity, because they're investing this grant money into the construction of the walkway and boardwalk. The county is the trustee, not the property owner, but is the trustee to the Clarence Shock Memorial Park at Governor Dick. There is then a trustees board that you appoint, and essentially what I have here is a maintenance and operation agreement between the County of Lebanon and the Clarence Shock Memorial Park at Governor Dick Incorporated, and this is identical to the operation and maintenance agreement you have with Lebanon Valley Rails to Trails, whereby you own the property. In this case, you're trustee for the property, but the entity, the governing entity, will take responsibility for maintaining it. And so if you enter into this agreement with the board there, then that'll satisfy the requirement for them to obtain the grant.
I'll make a motion to approve the maintenance and perpetuity agreement for the walkway at Governor Dick or Clarence Shock Memorial Park.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve that maintenance agreement. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Okay, I have three applications for county liquid fuel aid. First one being for Bethel Township. They would like to use their allocation for general maintenance for their 2018 program, and they have that as a project cost of $5,007, and their allocation is $5,007. For the next one is for East Hanover Township. They would like to use theirs toward line painting in the amount of $2,801, which is also the amount of their grant. And North Anvil Township also wants to use theirs for line painting in North Anvil Township roads. Total cost for their project is $16,110. Their allocation from liquid fuels would be $2,381.
Entertain one sweeping motion for this.
Yep.
Also move.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve those liquid fuels allocations as read. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
I have a grant acceptance on behalf of the Lebanon Department of Emergency Services. They have been awarded $17,739.80 from the Hazardous Materials Response Fund, and they would like to use $6,250 of that toward the purchase of a Yamaha jet outboard motor for their rescue boat. And when the boat was originally purchased from the 2013-14 grant, the same grant, a motor was not purchased with it, so this will give them, they just simply have one that they're ability to navigate by pole and oar. They would like to have the ability to navigate through some shallow water, lakes, rivers, creeks, rocky bottoms, and so on. That's why it's a jet motor. And then also for $3,956 of it would be used for a Draeger gas meter, $2,911.35 for a hazardous dust meter for toxic dust and particles in the air, and $4,622.45 to purchase training aids and props to prepare for hazmat responses. All of this must be used for that type of activity.
I'll make a motion to purchase all of the items.
Just need to accept the grant.
Accept
Okay,
the
to accept the
grant.
grant, and to purchase the items, the $17,739.80.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the grant as presented. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Jamie, just,
Yes.
the Department of Emergency Services, I got two feedback items. One from North Cornwall, thanking them for use of some equipment that they stepped up to allow for them to use, and also the fair, the generator side. They're very proactive in, supporting the municipalities, and
Yep.
got some feedback on this. It's good. Sorry to prolong the meeting.
The last item I have is a medical assistance transportation program contract agreement for 1819 for Lebanon Transit to provide services for eligible participants in that program to be transported by Lebanon Transit.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve the medical transport agreement with Lebanon Transit. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Okay, that's all I have, and lots of signatures for you, and we have an executive session scheduled following this meeting.
That's it.
I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned.
The ejector seat or something.
He fell asleep.
So Sheriff, thank you for being here. You get a bottle of water.
Bottle of what? Oh, water.
Something.
Yes. Okay.
Well, I'm impressed that you stayed for the whole meeting.
That was a very good meeting to come to. I learned a lot of stuff there. Is there any